Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good day. What up, what up? Whatever time it is for you. Hope it's going well, man. We made it. It's Wednesday, dude. We're halfway there. Dudes and dudesettes. Halfway to the weekend, baby. Yeah. Today's day 16 of Breath of the Wild. So we'll keep pushing. Got a little bit tilted yesterday. A little bit tilted at the end of the gameplay yesterday. Didn't feel super good. Feels like there should have been a respawn for an objective item that you can't very easily, if actually at all, get back up onto a very high place after it gets potentially knocked off. That sucked. But I don't know. We'll keep pushing, man. We'll keep pushing. So that's the plan for today. We'll do the news like we do every day. We'll hop in there and we'll find out what's going on in the gaming industry. And we'll follow that up with some more Legend of Zelda. First playthrough ever. Also doing that on Master Mode, which has been nice. It's been fun. It's a good game. It really is. I've got a few things I've been able to nitpick a little bit on, but for the overall, it's a fantastic title. Highly recommend. It's a lot of fun, and we're continuing to progress. Right now, we've got the Divine Beast finish, and I'm kind of halting all the main objective progress. We're just kind of going through and doing everything we can to grind away at maybe some like gear upgrades, finding more shrines, doing some of that kind of stuff, exploring the world more, taking our time to really get a fully fleshed out experience of the world before we move on with main quest stuff. Cool. So that's the play. That's what we're going to do today. It's good to see you guys. Let's go ahead and hop over here. Let's get into the video gaming news segment. First of all, take a look at this. That's what we're listening to this morning. Subnautica soundtrack. Very cool game. It is a base building, resource gathering, kind of exploration, survival-esque aquatic adventure game. So take a look. Very neat title and really good soundtrack too. That's what we've been listening to right now this morning, and we'll probably listen to it throughout some breaks today while we play games and stuff like that too, as needed. Cool. We'll go ahead and got it. Cool. Let's get in here and take a look at the news, man. See what we got. Java. Metacritic reveals the worst reviewed games of 2022. Let's go. See what we got. The Witcher 3 new gen versions contain the dumbest change. Sick. Let's take a look at that. Shouldn't the Game Awards be more than just hours what? Of trailers? No. Let's read this. Let's read this and discuss that, okay? Let's read and discuss. Read and discuss. Tesla's holiday update adds Steam games and Apple Music. We knew this was coming. I'm not going to dive into this. Tesla's not the only auto manufacturer doing this kind of thing. We knew specifically that Tesla was adding Steam's platform, or Valve's Steam platform, to their automobiles. We knew that, okay? That's not news. A lot of companies that are in the video gaming industry are creating even electronics and platforms specifically aimed at automobiles. And Tesla is one of the first, obviously, to incorporate a gaming platform into their vehicles. But this is all aimed at how immersive entertainment is going to be for um, our traveling as automobiles become more and more applicable for automation, right? Driverless cars. You're not, as we get closer and closer to fruition, that ideal of us not actually having to control vehicles and just being able to lay back and focus on other things while the vehicle takes us places. And I'm not talking about public transportation either. I mean, actual vehicles we own, hop in and go, this is where I need to go. And then you just sit back, right? So video games are going to take a big presence into the vehicles. And we're already seeing this. This is like kind of the initial rollout of that taking place. So we've talked about that. We've seen this. It's not a surprise. Epic Game Store giving away 15 free games. We've talked about this previously too. I've been trying to give everybody a heads up. I promote free content all the time. I want people to get their hands on free stuff. For people to be able to get into the world that I love, which is video games, quite often a big obstacle is price, right? Money. So if I can find a way to get people in there for things that are free, that's what I'm going to do. And Epic every single week gives away free titles. Normally 2 titles every single week. You can see right here that up until tomorrow, so you've got just like, I don't know, around 27 and a half hours left, something like that. You can still get Saints Row 4 Re-Elected and Wildcat Gun Machine for free. You literally just have to have an Epic account, get on their platform, whether it be the desktop application or their website, store, whatever, and just click these and say, give them to me. Add them to your library. That's it. There's nothing more to it. So do it. Then after tomorrow, they're going to start giving these away. There's going to be a free game given away every single day for like the next 2 weeks, basically. So from tomorrow through the end of December, it looks like Epic will be giving away a free game every 24 hours. But you have to grab each game within that 24-hour period, okay? And they give away some quite notable games during this holiday period. They've done this for the past 2 to 3 years, and so this is becoming like a tradition for Epic's platform, for Epic to do this. And again, free stuff, free software, free games. Go ahead. Now is the time, man. I'm telling you. If you have not done this before, even if you're not a PC gamer, you can literally bring a browser up, get your browser up on your mobile device, go to Epic, create an account, and just grab the free games. Even if you're not a PC gamer, there's a chance in the future that you might start doing some PC gaming. And in that event, instead of starting being like, hey, I want to start playing some games on PC and not having any kind of library, if you just heed my advice here and start grabbing some free titles, at least you'll have an amount of a library stacked up and kind of ready to roll on whenever you do decide to take that leap into PC gaming. You know what I mean? So go grab your free games, guys. We've talked about that. Looks like Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. So basically, what we're talking here is previous gen consoles. And I'm going to lump the Switch in there too. Even though Nintendo does not have a new gen console, the Switch is as old hardware wise as PS4 and Xbox One is. So that's why I'm going to say that. Apparently, it looks like maybe they've got some work to do still on some of the older hardware configurations to get the game working smoothly. So we'll take a look at that. This is kind of what we touched on yesterday, right? Microsoft will reportedly allow Call of Duty on PS Plus. That is what the latest step has been in Microsoft trying to appease this anti-competitive, especially from the Federal Trade Commission, and going, yo, Sony, here's a 10-year offer. We'll allow you to put this on your subscription service as well. Call of Duty for the next decade, and it can be on your subscription service. How's that for anti-competitive? You know, Nintendo's already bought in. So Nintendo buying in, and now this offer being on the table for Sony as well is basically Microsoft going, how can you call us anti-competitive when we're willing to go ahead and engage in contract negotiations for this unique title that we are potentially going to be obtaining in this acquisition, being on both of the other major competitors' platforms moving forward for the next 10 years. So that's TLDR for you. I'm not going to dive into it any further than that. Anything new moving forward, we'll jump into it and see what's going on. We've already got that up. Talked about it. Oh, dude. CDPR, bro. Witcher 3 next gen update PC players say it runs terribly. Bro. I'm so scared of that dev. Call of Duty delays release of major Warzone 2 feature. Okay, let's see what that is. We've talked about this too. This seems like totally asinine to me. I'm not going to dive into it. If you didn't know, there are parents filing a lawsuit in Canada against Epic Games saying that blaming Epic for their children not taking care of basic human needs like eating and hygiene, things like that, blaming Fortnite for it. These parents are suing Epic because Epic's game Fortnite has their kids so addicted, their kids are not eating or taking care of hygiene things like brushing their teeth or taking baths, showers, things like that. This is asinine. These parents are not doing their jobs as parents, is basically what this is. We've talked about it enough. I'm not going to dive into it. This is stupid. These parents need to get wrecked, man. Get wrecked, parent nerds. Do your job. This is, yeah. Same thing with the Microsoft deal. That's what that is. Did we see this yesterday? Yeah, I'll touch on it for everybody that hasn't seen, but I'll touch on. I'll touch on. New Netflix game, free game is very divisive. See what that is. Go ahead and switch up our search real quick. See what's going on. See if we get anything different. Yeah, it looks like we're getting a lot of sales right here before the holiday time. Um, the December holiday stuff, man. We've seen the eShops got sales. We're getting like GOG has started their sale. Dude, did Steam start their stuff up yet? It doesn't look like. I don't think so. There will be soon, though. There will be soon. I think Epic did, though. Did Epic? Oh, I'm on the store. I'm an idiot. No? Yes? No? Yes? Maybe not. I don't think they have either yet. But they will very, very, very soon. Again, Epic starting tomorrow. This is probably when Epic's going to start their sale because tomorrow is whenever they start their free games giveaway stuff. So I would look for tomorrow to be whenever Epic starts their winter sales on their site. So look for that. And I'm guessing Valve will probably start their sales on Steam very around the same time as well. So that would be my guess. Okay, that just makes sense. We'll take a look at this though. Looks like some PS5 sales, PS5 software sales. This dude was getting it. This dude played like 40 different instruments during that orchestral performance, dude, of the Game Awards. Homie was playing so many different instruments and he was jamming, man. Straight jamming out. Yeah, PlayStation. A lot of platforms start doing this. Even Twitch does this. Twitch released their end of the year like wrap up stuff. Allows you to see if you stream, it shows you your streaming stats. If you just are a viewer, it shows your viewer stats, stuff like that. A lot of the gaming platforms do the same thing, where it's like they release tools that allow you to show like statistics about your account, the games you played, achievements earned, things like that, just over the past year. So it's out there, man. Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, Black Apple? Yeah, 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 yeah. Good day to you, my friend. How are you? How are you? Yep, yep. So, I mean, if you're interested, these tools are out there. So go check those out. It is cool to see a lot of that stuff for sure. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I think it's we end up seeing that, you know. I think it depends. Yeah. Yeah, the art was good, Black Apple. Thanks. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, in the Discord. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, gamer. I mean, we see that kind of thing. Whether it be, because we get the same thing, especially about like the Microsoft stuff. You know what I mean? Um, with all the the acquisition things, we'll get the same kind of articles we've seen for days in a row. I think it depends how much new news there is to kind of like push the older stuff out, and how many news sites are just like catching that news and then following up on what they didn't initially report on and are creating new articles about that other sites had already reported on. So it's showing up as like new news, but it's not really new news, but it's new news from a different site. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it too. I don't know. That's why I try not to dive into that stuff. Like basically, because not everybody's here all every morning consistently. To those that are, like yourself, dude, I appreciate it very much. But I try to like just TLDR that stuff quite often instead of just diving back into it. Yeah, well, yeah, that's why I try not to spend too much time on it after I initially dive into that article. I try to very sum it up pretty. Like, if you're not aware, if you hadn't seen this previously, this is what a quick summary is of what's happening. Bam, and move on. I don't like to bring the article back up really or anything like that, but in the event that somebody is watching the content that hadn't seen the previous stuff, that's why. Otherwise, I wouldn't even talk about it again. You know what I mean? That's why quite often you'll hear me refer to previous news. Like, this is basically what is going on. If you want a deeper dive into it, we hit an article on it like 2 days ago in the news. That's why I do stuff like that. That way people can go back and take a deeper look at it if they want to. Yeah, we knew this too. NetEase and Blizzard, if you're not aware, NetEase and Blizzard are no longer in collaboration together, meaning a lot of Blizzard's titles are no longer available in China. NetEase was who was publishing their games in China. And now that they are no longer working together, Blizzard is seeking out another partner to get their games published in China. And they're trying to find ways to make this work. So we'll see what happens. What's up, gamer, by the way? How are you, dude? Hey, gamer, you want to hop into this one, dude? Hey, bro, you want to get into this one? I think you're just upset because it's Canada, dude. Are you just upset because this is actually something having to do with Canada, bro? I'm just playing, dude. I'm just messing around, man. No, dude. All right, this will be the last page. We'll see what else we find here. Yep. Yeah, that's it. We'll stick with these articles. We'll stick with these articles. No, new Netflix free game is very divisive. Netflix has today added a new title to its catalog of free video games that has previously proven to be quite divisive. Over the better part of the past year, Netflix has slowly been adding a number of games to its service that subscribers can freely access as part of their membership. And while titles like Into the Breach, Spiritfarer, Pointy, and Immortality have already proven to be quite popular, today's new addition might be a bit more controversial. As of today, Annapurna Interactive's 12 Minutes has made its way to Netflix. First released in 2021 on Xbox and PC, 12 Minutes is developed by Luis Antonio and follows the story of a man who is stuck in a time loop. Over the course of the experience, players must continue replaying this loop in order to find a way to break out of it. The game also happens to feature famous film stars such as Daisy Ridley, William Dafoe, and James McAvoy.
So, when is a dessert not just a dessert? I have something to share. So?
Okay, look, I clearly haven't opened it yet. And I know there are baby clothes.
Yeah, this was a
Them today. How could you know?
Netflix is
Look, I know this sounds weird, but the day's repeating itself.
What are you talking about?
I've done it before. It's
actually doing something I find to be pretty smart for their platform.
Out how it all works yet, but for
They're
example,
taking these games that have been
What?
pretty highly regarded as kind of unique,
the cop is gonna knock on her door.
good titles that
You gotta go.
And leave you alone.
can be played well on their mobile platform,
You're under arrest for
and they're bringing them into that platform.
Mike, Bob, please. You must give someone else.
It's a really good play. It's a nice tactic. It's a nice tactic by Netflix.
I'm not blind.
I just said no more games. Ever gave everything, all of it.
Things like this just don't get forgiven.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what you'll notice is like, so Netflix is making their own AAA game right now. AA to AAA game. Yeah. They've also done a lot of things like these games they talked about previously. We're talking about Into the Breach, right? Spiritfarer, Immortality, Oxenfree is one they didn't even list on here. Point P. They've got a lot of these very notable games that are, and like, not all of these are actually primarily mobile games. Like Into the Breach, Immortality, Oxenfree, stuff like that. Those games were not even initially mobile, I don't think, but they've been turned into mobile as well. And Netflix has done a good job of taking these very notable titles, bringing them into their platform as a way to get some nice quality pieces of gaming into their arsenal, their portfolio, and get a name going for themselves in this gaming space. You know, while they're not, you know, Netflix developed titles or anything, it does a good thing for them, absolutely. And this is just another example, man. 12 minutes. Yep, this is the same exact thing. It's very good. While 12 minutes sounds incredibly compelling on paper, the game has received a pretty mixed response from both critics and fans. It was kind of hyped up, and I don't think it necessarily followed through with what everybody was necessarily wanting, but I think an amount of people liked it. Alike over the past year, despite featuring a number of interesting gameplay ideas, the thing that has torn players down the middle with 12 minutes is its story. Sure, Black Apple. Although some found the narrative to be great from start to finish, others have expressed that the story falls apart in its final hours. Still, regardless of how 12 minutes has been received, it's great to see that the title is now more easily accessible here on Netflix. If you'd like to learn more about the latest game, you can find a more thorough description below. As you saw, 12 minutes is a real-time top-down interactive thriller with an accessible click and drag interface, featuring James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Very cool, man. Nice. They're making some good plays, dude, in my opinion, on Netflix's part. Yep. PS5 video games for $29.99 each, including Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet and Clank. After plunking down $400 to $500 on a PlayStation 5 console, you might find your coffers draining oh so quickly after you realize that PS5 video games can cost upwards of $70 each. Fortunately, like all video games, PS5 games eventually go down in price regardless of how good the games are. The games listed here are very good, and right now they also happen to be the cheapest PS5 games out there. The games listed below are PlayStation exclusive video games. Aside from Horizon Forbidden West, they are also PS5 exclusive titles, meaning they were built from the ground up to take advantage of the PS5's graphical power, with no concessions made to make it backwards compatible with legacy consoles. Yeah. You can see there's like Demon Souls as well. So Horizon Forbidden West is $40. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart's $30. Demon Souls is $30. Returnal, $30. Yep. if you need this, there those are some decent prices I think on those games. Um, I mean, if I didn't see a specific question in there. I mean, I'm just going to address like there's a lot of toxicity in the world, especially on the internet. People, you can't. I think the best you can do is just anytime you're going to be putting yourself out there, you just need to understand that there are going to be haters, right? Uh, there are an amount of good people out there, but there are a lot of just nasty, insensitive people, toxic individuals out there that project their own personal issues onto other people, and ultimately, I think that what you have to understand is that if you're going to get into a space where you're going to be putting yourself out there, you have to be in a position to be mentally prepared for not letting random people affect your well-being. You know what I'm saying? You also, I think, if you're into trying to create a community that is centered around not having toxic kind of situations, toxic people, you've got to be prepared to create an environment like that that is centered around that kind of thing and not allowing that kind of stuff to happen. Yeah. I don't know much about like any kind of live streaming on YouTube or anything, but I know specifically about Twitch. A lot of what this platform is what you want it to be, but you need to know what you want it to be from the get go, and have a good foundation for what that goes into. There's always going to be things that could potentially change about that as your community grows and as you grow as a content creator, for sure. But I think having a good sound basis for what you want that to be is critical. But ultimately, what you're talking about is letting people that you don't actually know get under your skin, as it were, with some kinds of toxic attitudes and things. You can't let that affect you negatively, ultimately. I think that's hard for some people, but I think you really have to understand that these are just random, nasty, toxic individuals that ultimately don't mean anything to you. You know what I'm saying? These are just anonymous people in the world that, so it's you can't let that kind of stuff affect you like that. You have to be under you have to move forward with the understanding that this is the world we live in. It's inevitable you're going to get people that are just going to make, they're going to be a-holes, because they can be. There are just people like that in the world. There are people in the world that have their own internal issues, and they project a lot of those internal issues onto other people because they don't know how to deal with it themselves in a very mature way. So the best thing you can do is be a bigger person than they are. Don't sink to their level, in my opinion, and just let them know, that if they are not in line with what your community is supposed to be, then they don't need to be a part of it. I think that's the best advice I can give you. I'm sorry that happens to you, but I think that's the best I can give anybody. It's one of those situations where I feel like with the community that we have here in this channel, and I'm always trying to promote people being accepting and welcoming and loving one another for who we are and our differences, as long as you're a good person, right? And I think there's enough hate and toxicity in the world that meeting toxicity with more toxicity and negativity isn't helping anything. So just trying to rise above those individuals, not sink to their level, is the best thing you can do. I think you have to do what's true to yourself, and you have to just kind of turn a blind eye to those people that are going to hate on you. People are going to hate on you for no matter what. People are always going to find a way to hate on you. If you're putting yourself out there, be your true self. Love yourself for who you are. There are going to be people that love you for that. There are going to be people that hate on you for that. That's just the way life is. There's a lot of haters out there. But, you can't let those people get you down, because if you do, then you're letting them win, man. You know what I mean? So shrug them off. Do what you do. Stay true to yourself and just keep pushing. You know what I mean? That's all you really can do. Don't let those people get you down. They're just they're just a bunch of hate-filled, internally ugly individuals that are projecting their own low self-image and things like that onto other people. So don't let those people get to you. You just got to do the best for yourself. You know what I mean? Love yourself. Don't let those anonymous haters get to you. It's that they don't matter, man. They don't matter. Hogwarts Legacy delayed for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Those currently playing games on a last-gen console or Nintendo Switch will need to wait a few extra months. Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed yet again, this time for the last generation consoles and Nintendo Switch. While these versions were originally set to launch in February, they've now been pushed back to 4 April of 2023 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and 25 July for the Switch. Several months later than expected. The Switch delay is particularly harsh, adding a whopping 6 months to the wait time. While there have been doubts about the robustness of a Switch game port, given the console isn't nearly as powerful as contemporary rivals, it's fair to say a major delay at this late in the development cycle wasn't expected. There's hope the extra time will give a Nintendo Switch version of the game space to improve. We'll have to wait until July to see the final result. The team is looking forward to bringing you the game, and we want to deliver the best possible game experience across all platforms. The official Twitter account for the game announced. It subsequently confirmed Hogwarts Legacy will still launch for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on 10 February, as planned, with a 72-hour early access period available for players who pre-order the game. No reason for the delay was shared, although performance issues may have factored into the decision, as is common in other delayed games. We may learn more in the coming months as Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment and Avalanche Software gear up for multiple releases. Yeah, so now, to recap here, the dates for release for Hogwarts Legacy are now going to be for the original announced dates are still there, but only for for the new gen platforms and PC. So for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Windows PC, it is still coming on 10 February, right? But for PS4 and Xbox One, it won't hit until 4 April. So almost 2 months later. Then it's not going to come on Switch until 25 July. That's if these dates don't get pushed back any further. You know what I mean? Um, look, guys. PS4 and Xbox One are getting phased out. We've talked about this. This is the cycle of gaming platforms, consoles specifically. Um, the new consoles have been out for a while. The old consoles of this generation, the PS4 and the Xbox One, have lasted a bit longer because of the inability for like PlayStation and Xbox to meet a lot of the demand for their new gen consoles over the first couple of years of them being in production, right? So they've actually thrived a bit longer than I think they probably would have in the first place. But we are starting to see PS4 and Xbox One last gen consoles starting to be phased out a little bit. It happens. It's inevitable. Even though it's still coming to these platforms, it's coming out later, right? But we are starting to see games come out where games are only coming out on new gen consoles, stuff like that. But, dude, I've been talking about the Switch and how old the hardware is now. And even though the Switch is still considered Nintendo's new gen console, this is old hardware. And it is affecting things. It is definitely affecting things. Meaning that a lot of developers are creating games for new gen consoles, meaning like new hardware, especially PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. It doesn't play the same way, man, that it will on old hardware like the Switch. And so, uh, uh, we're seeing some effects here, man. I've been talking about how Nintendo really needs to get on the ball with releasing something new. I don't know. Feels bad. Feels bad. There you go for the people anticipating Hogwarts Legacy. I mean, anybody that doesn't play on anything other than a Switch, that feels a little bit rough. Have a PS5. All my games are PS4. I do not have any PS5 disc copy games. Right on. Right on. Yeah. I mean, it's happening though. It's happening. It's this is the way of things. Things are moving in a progression towards developers. You're going to see over the next year, especially. I'm calling this. I'm already seeing a trend, and over the next year, you're really going to starting to see developers stopping development for PS4 titles. It's happening. So it's going to be moving more towards specifically solely new gen software. A lot of developers are going to be like not necessarily making not all. There'll still be a number of titles made for the previous gen consoles and stuff, but you'll see other software developers doing this where it'll just be software for like PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. You'll see that coming. No doubt about it. Because PlayStation's even quit counting sales for PS4s. If you don't remember that, they're not even counting sales for PS4s anymore. And that's just another indication that like previous gen consoles are starting to kind of be phased out. It's happening. Witcher 3 next gen update. PC players say it runs terribly. Gonna take a drink of coffee real quick. The PC version is a mess after the update. PC players are struggling to play The Witcher 3 following the next-gen update due to a raft of performance issues. Since the update went live yesterday, several fans have taken to online forums to report their problems, with others chiming in with potential fixes. Looking across a few posts, the most prevalent complaint is that performance tanks when ray tracing is enabled. Players say they are facing frequent stuttering with the feature enabled, with several others saying the full game crashes are also happening. Elsewhere, fans report that DLSS isn't working correctly and that tinkering with the settings can lead to more crashes. I had The Witcher crash on me a couple of times. Witcher 3 crashed on me a couple of times just when we played it a couple of months ago. So, I even said, like, that game, even as old as it is still pretty buggy, man. So, I'm not surprised, coming from CDPR, that the next gen update for The Witcher 3, another thing for CDPR, doesn't feel good. I mean, it's a trend, dude. If you're struggling, people are gathering on Reddit and the Steam forums to see if they can figure out workarounds until CDPR steps in. One fan shared they were facing crashes with ray tracing enabled with various settings regardless if it was turned on mid-game or before startup. According to another player, loading a pre-patch save and then jumping over to the new one ensured everything ran fine. When it does run well, The Witcher 3's next-gen update seems to be going down a treat with players. In Game Radar Plus's hands-on preview, Heather praises the new features, quality of life tweaks, and various graphical improvements. This is still very much the game I know and love. Lots of welcome features make it feel more streamlined. And visually, it's even more beautiful than it was before. It did look good. We watched a video of it yesterday. It looked very good. If you want to see everything new for yourself, check out The Witcher 3 Next Gen Update patch notes at the jump. There's the link there for the patch notes. I'll put it in here. But look, dude. CDPR scares the crap out of me. I'm sorry. That dev scares me, dude. Call of Duty delays release of major Warzone 2 feature at last minute. Call of Duty is delaying the release of a major and long-requested Call of Duty Warzone 2 feature. Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises out there, largely because you can count on a new game every single fall. For well over a decade, Activision was able to satisfy customers at launch and keep the cycle going with minimal issues. However, as game development has gotten more complicated, things have begun to go awry. This has resulted in developers getting pulled off of titles, features like the campaign getting scrapped for Black Ops 4, and much more. Although Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was released earlier this year with all of its most important features intact, it still had a lot of issues including bugs and other smaller things missing at launch. Call of Duty Warzone 2 was no exception to this and resulted in some fans having to demand things like combat records and leaderboards be added to the game. Of course, Warzone 2 is a game of bragging rights. You want to get a lot of wins so you can prove your skill and have it be recognized on the leaderboards. It wasn't in the Battle Royale at launch, but it was confirmed to be included in the mid-season update releasing on December 14th with a caveat. None of your stats would carry over. We talked about this yesterday, man. Yeah. It wasn't in the Battle Royale at launch. It was confirmed to be included in the mid-season update releasing on December 14th with a caveat. None of your stats will carry over, so you'd essentially start with a blank slate. It's annoying, but whatever. At least it's here, right? Wrong. It was confirmed at the 11th hour that combat records and leaderboards for Warzone 2 would no longer be included in this update due to the accuracy of the data population. Oh! Although previously announced, Warzone 2.0 combat records will not be launching with Season 1 Reloaded due to the accuracy of the data population. However, we continue to work on this feature and the implementation of leaderboards and will provide an update when available. Oh, dude. Oh, wow. Brutal. You know what's funny is like there was a bunch of Call of Duty people that were like upset at the fact that this wasn't out initially, and they were like, you know, that sucks, dude. We're not going to get to see all of our data from, you know, they were like, oh, cool, this is coming, but that sucks. We're not going to get to see our data from when we first start playing the game. It's only going to, you know, collect our data from whenever the update comes out, coming up, right? And now Activision's like, oh yeah, hey, guess what? Psych. We're not even rolling it out now. Dude, that's terrible. Yo, that's nuts. All right, for all you Call of Duty players, no more. You're not getting stats yet. You're not getting your stats yet. Oh, dude. New Xbox Game Pass game is one of December's biggest releases. Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate have been updated with 2 new games. One of them is one of the biggest releases this entire month. December is traditionally a very slow month for game releases, but this is slowly changing. So far this month, we've gotten the likes of Need for Speed Unbound, Marvel's Midnight Suns, River City Girls 2, The Callisto Protocol, and Hello Neighbor 2. As of today, we've also gotten High on Life. Yes, an Xbox console exclusive, High on Life is undoubtedly one of the biggest games of the month in terms largely due to who is involved with it. That said, the Squanch Games developed game does boast a 76 on Metacritic. It's respectable. It's not going to blow anybody away at 76, which isn't the greatest score, but over on Steam, gamers are enjoying it more than their critic counterparts. At the moment of writing, the game has 202 user reviews, 89% of which are positive, giving the game a very positive user review rating. Yeah. Let's see this. Creeping up on, I'm actually surprised that there haven't been more reviews of this game. This has kind of like been a fairly anticipated game, but what it might be is a lot of people are actually playing this. Bless you. Playing this on Game Pass, and leading to them like not reviewing on Steam maybe is part of it. But creeping up on 500 reviews. It just came out yesterday, so it's not bad. I just expected a bit higher of a review count already, but 90% positive of creeping up on 500 reviews at this point. Yeah, that's a bit weird to see a mid 70s Metacritic, and then to see this as well. Yeah, I have seen there are some issues with like you can't change your field of view. There's no key mapping or like the key binding options aren't in the game or anything like that. And it's like, dude, really? What year are we in? This is 2022, right? I haven't like slipped back in time. Like, what games come out on PC that like? I mean, come on, man. But let's see this too. Let's see this. Wait. That's not what I wanted. There's not a lot of showing here right now about. Looks like probably somewhere around 10 to 13 hours for people to beat this. It's a pretty short game. It's a pretty short game, man. $60 is $60 worth 11 hours of game time? Chat? I don't know about any kind of like replayability of the game or anything yet either, but just to get through the base game and beat it and everything, looking like about maybe roughly 11 to 12 hours. Would $60 feel good for that? I would say no. But you can play it for free on Game Pass, so there you go. Maybe. All right, I don't know. We'll see. Metacritic reveals the worst reviewed games of 2022. Um, Review aggregation site Metacritic has revealed the 10 worst games of 2022 according to weighted average review scores from its approved critics. According to the list, it includes games released for any platform between January 1st of this year and December 31st of this year. However, games with fewer than 7 reviews from professional outlets are excluded. Metacritic also points out that a game can only feature once on the list, so games released on multiple platforms are judged by their lowest scoring versions, as they should be. Because any game that comes out on as many platforms as it's going to release on, if it comes out and it feels good on like certain platforms, but it comes out as a hot mess on another one, it should be rated as such for that platform that it came out feeling like crap on. Crossfire X, which saw publisher Smilegate team up with Alan Wake and Control developer Remedy, was met with terrible reviews at launch. Despite its free-to-play business model, the few players it did attract reported terrible graphical issues and borderline unplayable frame rates. Topping the list is Postal 4, No Regrets, a new entry in the controversial PC franchise that won over few critics when it exited early access this year. Also included in the list is Babylon's Fall, oh yeah, notable. Troubled Platinum and Square Enix RPG that will end its service in the new year. At one point, the game boasted a single concurrent player on Steam. Worst games of 2022. Here we go, guys. Number 1, Postal 4. No Regrets. A Metacritic score of 30. Crossfire X. Rating of 38. Babylon's Fall. Rating of 41. XEL on Switch. Rating of 43. Arc of Alchemist on Switch. Rating of 46. Zorro the Chronicles. Rating of 49. The Last Orikru on Xbox. Rating of 50. The Waylanders on PC. Rating of 51. Kamiwaza, Way of the Thief, PS4. Rating of 52. Blade Runner Enhanced Edition on Switch. Rating of 52. That's pretty rough. Pretty rough. If you guys wanted to actually take a look at what some of these titles are, if you're not familiar, there's the list right there. The Witcher 3 new gen versions contain the dumbest change. The Witcher 3's new gen upgrades hide a big censorship of the number 69, dude. What? CD Projekt just launched a grand upgrade for the 2015 RPG earlier today on December 14th. And players like the one pictured just below have wasted no time at all uncovering The Witcher 3's latest secrets, except in this case, the secret there refers to the absence of the number 69. I think I found a hidden thing in The Witcher 3 Next Gen update. Why are you doing this at CD Projekt Red? Oh, it didn't show it. Weird. As the player above demonstrates, if you head into the options menu and then the controller settings subsection, you'll be able to adjust the right stick sensitivity on your controller. If you tune the number to just past 68, it'll automatically turn to finally tune the number to just past 0.68. It'll automatically turn to 0.689 repeating instead of just increasing to 0.69 like you think it would. This tiny, silly change from CDPR eliminates the number 69 from appearing in The Witcher 3's options for some reason. It's not actually clear whether the number of prohibited in the same fashion from every numeric option in the releases menu, and it's up to some dedicated players to find out for sure. Yes, The Witcher 3's PS5 and Xbox Series X new gen versions pack in a lot of features like a photo mode, performance modes, but where this would fancy new versions would be without the number 69 in its menus. Flying high with not a care in the world, that's where. Can't help but wonder why or how CD Projekt arrived at this cheeky little decision. Who specifically decided to remove the number 69 from The Witcher 3's menus? Perhaps some mysteries are destined to remain forever unanswered. Jeez, dude. Wild. All right, this is the last article I have for the day. Anybody has anything to add you want to talk about for video gaming news, let me know and we will address it before we move on to day 16 of Breath of the Wild. All right? Pushing buttons. Shouldn't the video game Oscars be about more than just hours of trailers? I'm interested to know what you guys think. In this week's newsletter, other than God of War star Christopher Judge's heartfelt acceptance speech, the Game Awards felt symptomatic of something wrong with the industry. Believe it or not, this issue marks a year of pushing buttons. However long you've been a subscriber, I wanted to say thank you so much for reading. Whether I've been chewing over the week's gaming news, philosophizing over what games can offer us in times of crisis, or just writing again about how brilliantly creepy Zelda Majora's Mask is, putting this newsletter together has consistently been a highlight of my working week. Let's see. The industry made less money this year after unsustainably rapid pandemic-fueled growth in 2020. In other ways, though, it's been a slow return to business as usual, as the industry hype machine stirred back to life. Sorry. The main engines of that hype machine are the big news and marketing events that have traditionally punctuated the gaming year. E3, Gamescom. E3 still has not even been a thing for the past 3 years. Okay? Dude, these media outlets have got to stop. Because E3 is not a thing right now. It has not been for the past 3 years. It is a summer games showcase put on by the developers and publishers themselves. E3 has been canceled for like the past 3 years. Let me just make everybody very, very clear this fact. These outlets keep referring to the summer game showcases that keep happening over the past 3 years as E3. It's not E3, dude. It's not. Gamescom, and to a lesser but increasing extent, December's Game Awards. Insistently billed by host Jeff Keighley over the years as the video game Oscars. They are now in their 9th year, and last week's show was at least as much about advertising as it was about the awards themselves. Over a 3-hour show, 3.5 if you include the pre-show, I reckon 2 hours was either adverts or trailers, which are still ultimately adverts, just more interesting ones. I struggled to make it through the whole thing, though the announcements of Hades 2 and a new entry in From Software's Armored Core mech sci-fi series were welcome surprises. I'm not about to criticize Keighley for taking large sums of money to fit in an announcement of, for instance, a partnership between PUBG and a food delivery service into the show. I did not expect anything different, to be honest. It's fun to have some game announcements to brighten up December. It's also fun to have a glitzy, money-saturated ceremony that celebrates and awards gaming's creatives for their work. This is one of the most profitable creative industries in the world, after all, and why shouldn't it put on a show? I remain unsure, however, that those two things should be the same event. They sit uneasily together. The Game Awards has the same problem as the much longer-running golden joysticks, now in their 40th year and arguably better placed to claim the title of the Oscars of video games, in that it is at heart a money-making exercise. Very difficult to feel very much when you watch them, unlike, say, the BAFTAs, which are smaller scale and less obviously profit-oriented, and which do genuinely feel like a celebration of gaming creativity. That's partly because the voting system allows indie games to compete on a level footing with the commercial giants of the industry and often win, which is great. That's great. Most of the winners of the Game Awards did not even appear on stage to collect a trophy and make a speech, as the categories had to be hurried through to make space for yet more trailers. Yes, it's boring to watch a bunch of people receive awards, but ultimately, is this show for the creatives? It is ostensibly celebrating, or for viewers baying for entertainment? I don't think it knows. The BAFTAs might be a more meaningful award ceremony, but they pull in a minuscule fraction of the viewership, 1.5 million compared to 85 million. that in mind, the Game Awards succeeds brilliantly on the terms it sets for itself. As Lewis Gordon pointed out in his write-up of the show, the Game Awards is a symptomatic of games industry that is perpetually fixated on hype and on the future. This is, however, increasingly irrelevant to how most people actually experience games. You might play Elden Ring for 6 months or Destiny for 3 years. You might be enjoying The Witcher 3, which is nearly 10 years old, or you might just have played it and never want to touch it again in your entire life on PS5 or Xbox Series X, where it's just been released. The pace of technological change has slowed, and we're not witnessing giant leaps every 3 or 4 years anymore. We're not continually looking at what's next at the expense of what's here right now. The best moment of the show, unquestionably, was when Al Pacino gave Christopher Judge a big hug before Judge made an unwieldy, heartfelt 10-minute speech on accepting the award for Best Performance. I think there's going to be some disagreement here. I think it's telling that this is a scene that would have been more likely at the actual Oscars. Actors are kind of, by definition, interesting to watch, unlike game developers. We're never going to get a moment equivalent to Will Smith slapping Chris Rock live at a video game awards show. At best, we might get a disgruntled subtweet. For better or for worse, the celebrities in the gaming world are streamers and YouTubers, not developers. And when those folks fight each other, they sell tickets. This is my take, okay? This is my take on this. I find the timing of the Game Awards is weird. It seems weird to me that the Game Awards happen in December every year, and instead of the Game Awards for the previous year happening in like February of the following year. So like, in my opinion, the Game Awards should be happening in like February of 2023 for 2022's year of games. Something like that. That way, everybody has had a good chance to experience the games as a whole that came out of that year before everybody sits down and has this, like, you know, ceremony of appreciating the best of the best and awarding those titles instead of, you know, sitting down and doing this award show for I mean, specifically, I mean, obviously, Ragnarok took home multiple awards. Like, dude, that game hadn't even been out like a month, you know? And it's just weird to me that there's a weird dynamic about it in regards to that. So, I feel like it'd be a better play for any kind of award show to specifically be set maybe a month or two into the following year, for everybody to have a better opportunity for, because I mean, look, we're still not even finished with this year. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It seems weird that that's how the award show works to me in the first place. Honestly, dude, Chris Judge, and I said this whenever we watched the award show, his speech was long. That's why usually there's a cutoff, because people blab. If you don't cut them off, if you don't cut off people on stage when they receive awards and they're allowed to make speeches and stuff like that, they will babble and blab and just stand up there and try to keep thinking of things they can talk about rather than just getting to the point, being concise, thanking the most notable people at that point in time that come to mind, and getting out of there. And that's what you saw happen with Christopher Judge. Now, it doesn't mean they can't continue to thank those people later. Dude, we got social media. There are all kinds of ways. There are other platforms for these individuals to continue to thank the other individuals that maybe they didn't have 15 minutes of airtime to thank, you know, but it makes for a very boring, drawn out situation for a lot of viewers. It was like, oh, dude, I had to go make popcorn in the middle of it. I respect it, dude. I know there are a lot of people that these individuals, you know, they work with, they work very hard, and they want to thank as many people as possible. But it made it very brutal sitting there watching that individual trying to think about everybody and anybody that they could thank during that process. It was not a great look, dude. On the flip side of things, the reason so many people watch the award show is because it is hyped about, for us as gamers and gaming enthusiasts, it's hyped about announcements. So that's why most of us watch. I mean, there's a little bit of, you know, who's going to get Game of the Year stuff. Well, let's be honest, though. The majority of people that watch aren't like sitting there hyped out of their mind about like a lot of the other awards or anything like that, for the most part. I'm not saying that people don't enjoy it and stuff, but a lot of what we're looking for is the announcements, man. That's a big part of who we are as gamers and what we're looking forward to and in anticipation of what's coming next, man. So to say that, like, maybe what they need to do is actually separate all this. You know, we get a big summer showcase. Maybe there needs to be a December winter showcase for developers and games and publishers and stuff like that. And then the award show needs to be in like February or something. Separate it all. Do the award show. Make it to where it's just awards, dude. Get all the advertising crap out of it. Because, dude, it was way too long. It was stupid long. Especially to have it that late. I mean, you're talking about like parts of the world where you were having to watch it at like 1, 2 in the morning or whatever. You know? I mean, it was even, I think we started watching it in this channel at 6:30 at night. We didn't stop till after 10 o'clock, you know? Now, there are a lot of other parts of the world where, I mean, you're talking about early morning, man. So there are things that I definitely think need to be addressed with the Game Awards itself. I don't necessarily agree that, I think ultimately that's probably the best thing that could happen. I think they need to separate it. I think there needs to be a winter showcase for developers and publishers, just like there's a summer showcase. And then I think the awards need to be totally separate and like taken into the next year to give proper time for all the games that come out for that previous year to be experienced before awards are handed out. You know what I mean? Who said that the awards need to be held in that same year? That doesn't, I don't understand that necessarily. Ranting over, I guess. That's all I got, man. That's all I got. So that's the news, man. That's the news. We'll move on. We'll do some Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild Day 16 is today. Yeah. Thanks to everybody that was part of the news segment. You guys are amazing. I appreciate you very much. And thanks to everybody that is always part of this community. I appreciate it very much. We're going to move on to the gameplay stuff, but for anybody that is checking out this content as a VOD later on either the Twitch channel or YouTube, and if you're enjoying the content, come see what you can do about coming and hanging out with myself, the rest of these amazing people, whenever we go live every morning at 6 a.m. CST. Start off all of our streams with video gaming news before we jump into whatever gaming content we have slated for the rest of the day, okay? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another. And we will check everybody tomorrow for December 15th edition of Video Gaming News. And it will be day 17 of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Master Mode engaged. Cool?